Multiple reports suggesting that Lionel Messi has made his decision and his next club will be Inter Miami. Now, at the time of recording, Shaka, nothing is confirmed. So this is just 5-10 minutes of pure speculation, just as you like it.
That's my favourite thing. I look forward to this all week.
How much of a surprise would it be if Inter Miami was his destination?
Let me see. How do I quantify this? First of all, let me just say, at this point, nothing is a surprise anymore. Ever since Lionel Messi first left Barcelona, and I said then, even as the speculation mounted, that I just couldn't see Lionel Messi in anything but a Barca shirt. We all see how that turned out. Nothing. I guess. Well, a lot would surprise me, but nothing as much as that, as far as Lionel Messi goes. So right now, just kind of given the back and forth, and you're wondering where he's going to end up. You see exactly what the Saudis are doing with additions of Karim Benzema, speculation around N'Golo Kante, and the kind of money that they're talking about. That seems impossible to resist. But Lionel Messi is already a wealthy man and probably thinks, well, a couple $100 million more is not going to make a difference one way or the other. Let me try to find what's next for my family and I. That's best for my family and I, and not which money isn't really a factor. So if that's his thinking, then you understand him coming back to this side of the Atlantic into Miami. All right, we're not. Well, he's closer to Argentina. Still not that close, I admit. So all we can do is speculate as to what his thinking is. Oddly for me, this is. We had Jules Laurent on ESPN FC just last night, talking about La Liga approving Barcelona's financial plan, as it was phrased, into bringing Lionel Messi back to Catalonia. So I'm not sure what to make of it one way or the other, if I were really honest with you, Mark.
Well, when we spoke over the last week or two, and it was being mooted at the time that if he was to go to Inter Miami, he would then potentially go to Barcelona on a year's loan. But can you see Inter Miami being overly happy with that deal if they have a marquee mega bucks signing and then say, okay, we'll see you in 12 months?
Yeah, well, I mean, Inter Miami, truth be told, this is down to who's footing the bill. I don't think Inter Miami as a club foots the entire bill. It gives them a place to call home and a team to represent. But it comes down to who's footing the bill. And while there may be mad speculation about that as well, I'm not going to add to that just yet until ESPN's lawyers approve some of my more harebrained thoughts. So that's all I can see. And if again, let's, for argument's sake, and I can assure everybody watching this, I'm not the one footing the bill, but let's assume that I was. What if all my interests are here in the US with Major League Soccer? What's the benefit to my footing that bill, or the majority of it, for him to go back to Barcelona for a year? Do I just see that as an opportunity cost and making sure he doesn't go to Saudi Arabia? That's a pretty high opportunity cost, in all honesty. So my question then becomes, what's the give here? What's the trade-off? And nothing immediately springs to mind other than just making sure he doesn't go to Saudi Arabia, which is a pretty big bill to pay for that.
And that's what's happened these days. I mean, just this week, the Saudis didn't just buy a commodity, they bought a sport, in essence, or they paid to be involved in the running of golf. So it's changed the landscape, hasn't it? Regardless of where he ends up. And if he doesn't end up in Saudi Arabia, it means if you want him, or you want others who are in demand from the Middle East, it's changed the landscape of how much you now have to pay to get what you want if there's interest from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, certainly for that caliber of player, I
Hmm.
think the market, well, as far as I'm concerned, the market has been skewed in Europe for quite some time. This is adding to that, but not in the same way. I think Saudi Arabia's interest and what they're prepared to play, some of the players that we've just mentioned, um, I think that skews the market for players that are at the very top uh, echelon of the football hierarchy. Um, Everybody else outside of a select 10 or 12 um, won't be that affected. But then again, to your point, what's the long term play for Saudi Arabia here? Or
Hmm.
if the golf example is one to play, what's the short term?
Mm.
It seemed like a long term play in golf that turned out to be exactly the opposite. Now that may be the thinking or the planning here. Um, right now, it's just not coming together for me. I not a lot about it makes a lot of sense to me anyway.
Are we at the stage, Shaka, in Lionel Messi's career whereby you're no longer buying Lionel Messi, the player, as Barcelona did and as PSG did, albeit he came through the ranks at Barcelona, but you know what I'm
Mm.
saying. Are we now at the stage you're buying an unbelievable marketing commodity that is also a footballer?
Yes, I think we've been at that stage for quite some time. I think social media has accelerated that,
Mm-hmm.
has made that market mushroom, if you like, and particularly around individuals. I think it's no real surprise that it's coming at the back end of a decade, over a decade, where two players just totally dominated all the dialogue about the game. Both those players, being Ronaldo and Messi, in case anybody needed me reminding, we may be starting to put together those same comparisons and conversations around Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. We'll see. But understanding the marketing value of players is not new.
No.
Real Madrid certainly have made a name for themselves, dare I say, or made it their best business, harking back to my playing days with the Galacticos. So this predates social media. This predates discussions around just two players and two players winning every single award, every single individual award that's available to the game. This is just the next phase of what you can arguably say Real Madrid started some 20 years
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Just finally, I'm sure lifestyle, cash, and everything like that would have trumped legacy in the way that Messi is thinking about this. But from our perspective, do you think, wherever he ends up, if it is Inter Miami, if he goes on loan to Barcelona, but if it's not Saudi Arabia, where Ronaldo is probably going to end his career, do you think that might be somewhere in someone's mind connected with Messi, that his legacy, which is not in doubt, he's done everything, he's the
Exactly.
greatest of all, yeah, but
To,
it
to,
wouldn't be ending his career in Saudi Arabia. It would be ending his career at a level that people can relate to.
listen, Lionel Messi's legacy is set in stone.
100%.
What happens now is not going to change that. What happened at PSG does not change Lionel Messi's legacy. Um, he's earned the right to go wherever he
Mm-hmm.
wants, whether he chooses MLS or Saudi Arabia. I don't think it makes any difference at all. I'll be honest with you. As far as his legacy goes, I don't think going back to Barcelona changes that any at all. It gives him an opportunity to say goodbye to a club and a fan base on his terms a little bit better than happened a couple of years ago. But that's about it. If we're talking legacy, nothing. Unless I was going to say unless, and I'll keep that unless. I scratch that. From the time Lionel Messi won the World Cup with Argentina, there is nothing left for him to do.
No.
Nothing. And nothing he does from here on in is going to change anything about how he's spoken about or should be spoken about, or should be remembered.
And with Inter Miami, bottom of the Eastern Conference in Major League Soccer, and searching for a new coach following the departure of Phil Neville, I just wonder if a Mr. Lionel Messi would have any say in the next coach if he indeed does come to Inter Miami.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.